Hi everyone. So I did video 1. I watched both, but the response that I'm giving is to video 1. So the first question is, why would Dr. Carlson tie Gina's motivations back to her parents? And she was talking about how she's positive and kind of has like a motivated, positive outlook. And so then he asked her, where do you think you get that positive, that motivation, that characteristic from? And she had said that she gets it from her dad, she believes. So why did he tie those motivations back to her parents? I think it's because Adler talks about, in his theory, your parents' modeling behavior is a big influence on your characteristics and your outlook on life and your social connections and how you resolve conflicts. So by asking her, who were your mom or your dad, who demonstrated those kind of, or who modeled those kind of behaviors for you, shows that he's tying that back into where she learned these behaviors, which were from her dad. Because in the lecture, said that your parents are the ones that model those social connections, those behaviors, and how you resolve conflicts, and that you learn those things from your parents. And if those things are never modeled for you from your parents, then that's when you develop some social issues. So I think that's why he was talking about her parents and trying to tie that back in. To see where she learned those behaviors from. And then question number 2, what basic life tasks does Gina describe? She talked about possibly getting in another relationship, maybe a committed one, continuing to be a teacher because she enjoys that. She lit up when she talked about that, so you could tell that was something she really enjoyed doing. Raising her boys. And then she talked about how they're getting older, so she's got to start letting things go little by little and letting them figure some things out on their own. And then how to raise them in a two-parent or divorced two-home kind of situation without totally screwing them up. So she those were kind of her life tasks that she was shooting for. And that's hard. I can definitely relate to that part of it. I have a son, he's 9, he lives with me and then sees his dad kind of back and forth, so it is hard. You want to do the right thing, and you want to make sure that, you're raising them right, but when the two parents don't necessarily get along, it makes that a little difficult. And I could tell, I think, in the way that she was talking about things, that her and her ex-husband don't get along very well, that it's kind of a rocky situation. So I think that's part of her therapy. It's hard to tell because, we only got like a 3-minute clip, so it's hard to tell if that's, her relationship with the ex-husband, if that's part of her therapy. But I feel like because it seemed like it was such a like the subject, kind of, you could tell it kind of hit a button with her, that might be part of her therapy. And then in the video too, they talked about her like maybe learning to have a civil relationship with him. So that's another reason I think that might be part of her therapy, is trying to, or one of her goals is trying to develop to where she can have a more civil relationship with with the father of her children. And then question number 3 said, what interventions on part of the therapist suggest to you that this is an Adlerian therapist? And I think it's kind of hard because the clip was only, it was short. Maybe if you could see like a longer version of the therapy session, it might be a little bit easier. But I'm going to say, I think because he was really touching on her, or assessing her areas of strengths, or her areas of strength and her goals. He wanted to make sure that she knew that she was good at things, and the positives. So she talked about, he asked her, I don't remember exactly, but she talked about how she was motivated, she was positive, these things made her happy. So it wasn't so much like, what's bringing you down and what's the bad things going on or whatever. He was focusing on the positives and her strengths. And then in talking about her strengths, she talked about a couple of things that she needed to work on. But he was keeping things kind of positive with her strengths. She mentioned, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. She mentioned, disagreements with the ex-husband are a big thing. But he had pointed out that, as she's mentioning that they have disagreements and that things are bad like that, he pointed out that, well, your husband, your ex-husband, he did encourage you in your education. That was a good thing. And so she's like, yeah, he did do that. So I feel like that is kind of, in that little clip, what shows that he is an Adlerian therapist, is that he is assessing her areas of strength and her future goals.